Welcome to my session, Your Intelligent Workplace with Microsoft Teams and AI Builder. My name is Nicole and I will explain you how you can build modern business applications based on the Power Platform, especially Power Apps and the AI Builder, and how you can integrate them into Microsoft Teams. So before I start, thank you to our sponsors. Without sponsors, events like this aren't possible. So please have a look what they are doing or which solutions they are providing. So maybe you will find some cool solutions to use them in your environment. Yeah, and a few words to introduce myself. My name is Nicole. I'm working for Conat, that's a company in Germany, and I'm a team lead for cloud workplace solutions there. My main focus is all around about Microsoft 365 and SharePoint. So I started my career with SharePoint 2007, and I did consulting, development, and all the other stuff in our projects. And as the cloud solutions like Office 365 or Microsoft 365 came up, I was working there too. And as you can see, I'm also writing books about these topics. They are all in German, but as you can see, there's the focus about collaboration, modern workplace, and all based about the tools we are using now nearly every day. If you want to stay in contact with me or if you want to have a chat, you find me on Twitter. So you see my Twitter handle here. And you also find me on LinkedIn, and I have my own blog. So if you are looking into the app, you will find how to contact me. So, and then I would say, let's start. And I want to tell you a story. That's a story from my company. So if you are thinking about the modern workplace and how you can support business processes, then you may have already Office 365, maybe it's E3 or E5 license. And if you log in to office.com, you may see a similar view as we are seeing it here. So you see a lot of tools, and at a few years ago, I had many discussions with customers who said, "Okay, Office 365, is this more than Office? So is it more than Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook?" I said, "Yes, it's so much more, and maybe it's too much if you want to start using these new tools." So if you see all these tools, you may say, "It's too much. I don't know which tool to use when," and you're right. So you need to know all these tools, and maybe you need somebody who consults you how to use which tool, and if there are some tools which are not necessary for you. And that's why I like to talk about use cases. You see a lot of tools here, but I will walk you through. So choose your collaboration tools based on use cases. And I want to start on the left side with document management, because working together on a document is a main use case in many companies. So you want to use a central document location instead of sending copies from one person to other people. And that's a story I like to tell. So I want to share some insights with you. Many years ago, before we had tools like SharePoint in our company, When I wanted to write a proposal or a documentation, then I started writing this document on my PC, and it was stored on my PC. So fingers crossed that everything will work fine with my PC at the moment. Yeah, and then I needed some information from other colleagues. And what did I do? I sent a copy of my document as an email attachment to my colleagues. And yeah, my colleagues, maybe they added some information, but in some cases they also said, okay, I don't know what to write here, so I forward the email to other colleagues. And at the end, I get 5 or 6 different versions back, and I have all the work to consolidate this information. It's not so nice. And then SharePoint came up. Wow, a central document location where everybody of us can work at the same time in the same document. So maybe I sent an email to my colleagues, but I only sent a link to the document. And OneDrive as my personal document location, so you can compare it with your PC. That's the same. So I can decide that I want to share this document with a special group of people and maybe with some external users or so. I can do this, but I have the document in my preferred location and I don't get different versions back. So everybody has the same uh, piece of information. So if you're thinking about SharePoint and OneDrive, maybe it's mainly for document management. Yeah, and if we think about projects and teamwork, if you are working in a project team, then you know that you have to organize yourself in the team. Maybe you have a team leader, but in some cases the team organize it by itself. Then you need a place where you share documents, but you need also a place where you organize your tasks and a place where you can share knowledge with the team in different ways. So maybe the task board is very easy. So maybe that's Planner, or maybe you have some other tools outside of the Microsoft world where you organize your tasks. And for sharing knowledge, maybe you prefer the way to record small videos, then Stream can be very handy. Or you want to do some kind of quiz, then you can use Microsoft Forms. Or you want to get some information, then Forms is also a good idea. And in the other ways, you can use OneNote or the wiki, which is already there in Microsoft Teams if you create a team room. Let's go on the right side of the slide. So there's all about information. If you are thinking about conversations, so you want to exchange information with each other in an ad hoc way via chat or phone or a video call, then you can use Microsoft Teams. It's the best option in the Microsoft world you can use. In the past, you have used Skype for Business, but nowadays that's Microsoft Teams. And if you have some information which you want to share with everybody in the company, so you have company-wide information, then SharePoint can be a good option, or Microsoft Teams, or Yammer. But if you're thinking about an intranet and you want to have some long-living information, then maybe SharePoint is the best option. And last but not least, if you want to do networking, and nowadays networking is more important than ever, Yammer can be a good option because there you have the possibility to create topics, to create groups, to have a chat with everybody, and you can follow people or topics. So you can find information which you wouldn't find when you focus too much on project teams and organizational units and so on. Yeah, and our topic for this session is all about business processes. So if you are thinking about collaboration and you think about business processes, is it a part of collaboration? I would say yes, because if you have a business process, then you have different roles, you have different people which are involved in this business process, and that's collaboration as well. So what can we do to support business processes? That's all about the Power Platform. So you can support a business process with an app or with a workflow. Maybe you build some dashboards because you need some reporting, or you create a bot to have some completely other kind of information management and how to trigger a workflow, for example. Yeah, in my company, we started with building a social intranet, and it was based on SharePoint and Yammer. So we are around about 1,000 people. So you don't need know everybody in person anymore, and even in our current situation where most of us are in the home office, you don't meet them in person. And then we expanded our world with Microsoft Teams to support project teams and organizational units. And then you see, okay, there's a business process which can be improved, and here's something you can make better. So that was a way where we lured this Power Platform and built our first business solutions. So if you're thinking about Microsoft Teams, I already talked a little bit about this. We have different use cases which can be supported by Microsoft Teams, and most of them are round about how people can work together. So if you are thinking a project team or organizational units or collaboration with external users or in a community, that's all about that. A group of people needs a place where they can have a chat, where they can work on documents, where they can manage their tasks and share information. On the right side, you see some other aspects. So maybe you want to support your meetings, you want to manage and do your events, or you even need to have a phone or a video call. And that would be another session if you want to support digital learning. So if you think about the challenges of homeschooling, then there's a special edition of Microsoft Teams. But that's not part of our session today, because I want to talk about business processes. And I think most of you know Microsoft Teams. That's why it's very shortly here. You see a screenshot of the desktop app, and you see a lot of teams right there. And you also see a view of a running Teams meeting. So it's, for me, if I think about Microsoft Teams, I would say it's my central entry point. So I find nearly every information there, and I get less emails since we are working with Microsoft Teams. Yeah, and what I really like about this tool is that you have the option to integrate nearly everything. So you can integrate the Microsoft services, that's for sure, but you can also integrate other services. So, for example, if you are working with Jira, or if you are working with Trello or whatever, you have the option to use these tools and to integrate them here in your project team, for example. And if you have a closer look here, then you see, okay, I have my list of teams. I can have so-called org-wide teams, so a team where everybody in the company is a team member. You can have different channels, and you can also have private channels. So think about working together with external users, and you still need a place where you can share internal information. Then a private channel can be a good option. And you'll see in a direct way that there are some new information for you. So if you have this bold format, then you know there are unread messages for you. And for example, here the channel daily stand-up with the red bubble with the number 1 tells that you were mentioned there. So you don't only have unread messages, you have a message where somebody mentioned you. And that's like in the old world when you get an email and you are the recipient. You're not in CC, you are the right recipient. So maybe you have to do something. So if I have a priority, I say, okay, I have a look at all the channels where I was mentioned at first, and after this, I look on the other channels. And on the left side, in this kind of navigation, you also see all the notifications. So we see we have 2 activities. One of them is an unread chat messages, and I think the other one is the mention in one of the team rooms. And if you don't use it at the moment, I recommend that you have a look at the search and command bar at the top of the application. So if you start with a slash and you get a list of all the available commands, and I like to use this to start a phone call or write a short chat message, or because I'm a team member in many teams, if you want to go to a special channel very easily without scrolling for a long time, then you can start with the slash and go to. And then you can type or select the channel which you want to choose. And because we are talking about collaboration with internal and external users, you can be invited as a guest to a team room in another tenant. So maybe your customer or partner will invite you. And if you are invited in another tenant, then you will get a drop down on the left side of your profile picture. If you click on this, you see this here. It's the zoomed in picture. Then you can switch to the other tenant and you can work there in the team room as you would do this here in your tenant as a team member. You can also invite external users as a guest to your project teams. So it depends on your customer or on your agreement between each other who will create the team and who will invite the others as a guest. Yeah, and now it's time for our business process. So I want to introduce you to Tanya. Tanya is one of my best friends, and we are working in the same company. And in many of our meetings, when we talk to each other, I tell Tanya what am I doing, so she knows that I was working for SharePoint and that I'm now doing a lot of the Power Platform. And Tanya is working for the department who creates the invoices, and she has to work a lot with our service reports we create every month. And she said to me in our last meeting, Nicole, we need a business application. You don't have an idea about what am I doing nearly every day when it comes to the end of the month, because everybody of all of our consultants sends me a service report. Some of them send them in a paper format. Other ones send them as an email attachment. And Nicole, you are storing them in your project team room. You send me a link. But everybody is doing this in a different way. I want to consolidate um, this and have a standard business process. And for this, I need a business application. Can you do this for me? And I heard Tanya, and I said to her, Tanya, you can do this by your own. I can help you. I can coach you that you know how you can do this. And at this moment, she was really surprised because she didn't know what I was talking about. And then I said to her, Tanya, the world has changed. So you don't need a software developer for every problem anymore. There are really cool tools, and you can build this application by your own. Maybe not at the first time, so you need some explanation, you need some coaching, but after you've done this, you will be really happy because you know your business process. You know what's going wrong at the moment, and you know what you want to improve. If you tell this to other people, you need a lot of time that they need exactly what you really want. So it's time for the citizen developers. And Tanya, and also you can build your own app. Everybody can build his own app. You only need to know how to do this. And as you see here, I'm a lot of the Rings fan, and I like this special scene. So it's a scene where at the end of the movie series, and these are the hobbits. So hobbits are very small people, and nobody would expect at the beginning of the story that they have an important role in this story. But they have an important role. So here at the end, everybody takes a knee and thanks for what they have done, and they cannot um, really imagine how this was going on. Um, they don't see what they really did, but they are able to improve things. They are able to support others, and that is the message I want to give you on your way. So don't think that you cannot do this. Don't think about that other people can do this better. Try it and give your best. And I'm pretty sure that you can build your own app. So how should you do this? Do this with the Power Platform. So we also have the tools on the one of the previous slides. And I don't want to go too much into detail, but if we are thinking about the first business application, then maybe you would start with Power Apps or Power Automate. So maybe you want to build an app, or maybe you want to build a workflow, or maybe it's a combination about this. So we will see this in the live demo. And you have a lot of built-in data connectors. So if you want to connect some data in SharePoint with other data in Planner, or maybe you want to post a message in Microsoft Teams, you can do this. And if a data connector is missing, maybe to a third party or in another application which you are using, then a software developer can build this data connector for you, and you can use this later on. And the AI Builder is also a very cool tool, so that's why I decided to select it here, because Tanya told me that the service report management is not going in such a good way. That's why we will think about how we can use the AI options to help Tanya. Yeah, and this is the service report she was talking about. So we have a template in our company. And if you have a look here on this template, then you see, okay, we have a header. On the top right corner, you see the creation date. And on the left side, you see some header information like the contract number, the customer, and so on. And the header section ends with the name of the consultant. So in this case, it's Daniel Beckett. And after this, you have a data table with all the services done during this month. So it ends up with a total. So the total is here 56. Yeah, and the template is based on Excel. And in some cases, our consultant send this Excel file to the customer and only ask for a response via email that everything is fine. In some other cases, we print this service report and the customer signs it manually. And in other cases, it's been scanned and signed in a digital format. So Tanya gets it as a PDF. So you see different ways, but every service report will look the same way. Maybe you have the signature at the bottom, but that doesn't matter, because if Tanya or when Tanya gets the service report, everything is fine, and we got the confirmation by the customer. So what did I Tanya tell to do? I said to her, let's try to use the form processing option of the AI builder. And you go to Power Apps. So the Power Apps Studio includes the AI builder. And on the left side in the navigation, you see AI builder and the menu item build. If you click on this, then you get a selection like we see it here. And you select form processing. And the next thing you need to do is you need to name your AI model. I recommended Tanya to name it service reports, because that's our use case here. And then she asked me, Nicole, I see this diamond at the top, and after this there's the wording premium. What does it mean? Yes, I said to her, for us in our company, that's fine, because we can use this. But if I talk to customers, I need to tell them that this is a premium component, and you may have some extra costs. So if you have a licensing with Microsoft, then you need to know that premium components are not included by default. So you may have some extra costs, but you also have to think about which costs would you have if Tanya would need to do all the work by her own instead of having a future automatic process. Okay, so Tanya names her model, and as you can see in the preview here, you will need 5 documents with the same layout. So the next step will be that we need 5 service reports with the same layout and maybe different data. And as it is, so we need to add documents. So you will need to store some of the documents on your PC, then you can upload them. And then you click on Analyze, and the AI builder will check all the documents and it would be better if you have more than 5, because then he can see which differences are there. And he will do the analyze job, and after this you can see what he recognized as fields. So here in this case, I already did some work. So on the right side, you see that I selected or confirmed 3 fields, so contract number, customer, and decision maker. And now on the main window, I'm looking here for project name. So I clicked on the field which was marked with a dotted border. And he says, okay, I think that is a field called project name, and the current value here in this special document, that is social intranet with Microsoft 365. If your documents don't have a clear layout, then maybe he doesn't recognize the whole value. And then you can do this via drag and drop to mark the right area. So, and if you are fine, then you can check this, and the field will be added to the right side. As you can see, he also recognized the data table, and he recognized the total as a separate field. You can decide what you want in your AI model later on. So in some cases, maybe he recognized something in a default format. You can do this, and after you are fine with this, then you click on done on the top right corner, and yeah, your AI model will be there. Please don't forget to publish your model. And after this, you can use this in Power Apps and in Power Automate. And that's the time where I want to go into the live demo environment, because we have created the AI model, and now we want to use this in Power Apps. So let's have a look. So first, I want to show you the final result. Tanya created a team for service report management. And as you can see, last year she added the Power App here, and she called it Service Report Scan. So, and that's the Power App. Everybody can use this here, included in Microsoft Teams as a tab, but you can also use it via your tablet, your smartphone, or maybe here on your desktop via the browser. I go here, I have it in the same way, but without the border of Microsoft Teams. And now I can say, okay, I want to click on Analyze, and I want to go with Eve Morning. And now it's analyzed, and we will see the data of this service report in a few seconds here in our app. So you see, okay, he recognized the consultant, that's Eve Morning. The report was created on this date, and here we have the project number and the project name, and we see the data table with the total. Then I can say I want to share this with the team. And that's the second screen in my Power App, which tells me that the report has been uploaded, and Tanya and her colleagues can create the invoice now. If I go back, I can do this the next upload. As you can see here in this preview window, I know it's very small, but you can see that he shows us for every field how sure he is that he recognized the right information. This can be very useful if your service report format changes, for example, in the future. And you see, okay, here he isn't sure anymore, so maybe you need to update your model. So if you are looking here on service reports, that's a document library here in our team room. I opened it in SharePoint itself, and we see, okay, we have here our service report, and we have much more data than we saw in the app, but they are also in the AI model, so we can use them there. And how should we do this? So I go to Power Apps. You see the model. So we have the service report demo model. And as you can see here, we have a preview of the training documents. We see the selected fields. And if you start from scratch, then it can be very useful to see the documentation, how to use this in Power Automate or Power Apps. Because in Power Automate, it can be very useful if you want to do some kind of classifications. So if somebody uploads a document in SharePoint, for example, and you use a flow to assign the right content type or to start an approval process if it's a special document, or if you want to move files to special locations based on the kind of type. But if you go to the app, here's the service report scan app, and I will open this one in edit mode so we can have a look on the different components. Can take a few moments. So, and here we are. So this component, that's a form processor. And if you have a completely new Power App, then you will go here, Insert, AI Builder, and Form Processor. And after you added this component here, then you need to select the right AI model. And I click on this that you see. You will get a list of all AI models which are published in your environment. So here, these two ones, we saw them here in Power App Studio. So, and here we saw the consultant name, we saw the project name. So how is it going on? So let's have a look here. Our form processor controller is called scanner. And if I go on this label, then I see, okay, I want to concatenate different strings. So I have a default string consultant, and then I add scanner.fields.consultant. So I go here and I add the dot that we see all the recommended items. So consultant, contract number, created, customer. So you see all the fields of your AI model, and you can use them. And you don't need to do anything more. With the data table, and I see show it here, the whole data table. You also have the option that you can get the data from the form processor control, and that's called scanner.tables because we have a list of all tables in our AI model, and that could be multiple ones if our document would be a little bit more difficult. And while I was creating this model, I didn't have a look on this. So if you don't name your table, then it will start with table underscore 0. The next one will be table underscore 1 and so on. But you could also name this. I didn't do this for this demo. Yeah, and if I go here, then I can say, okay, I want to edit fields, and I could add or remove all the fields which I need. So, but this is only for showing up. I want to store the document here in the document library. That's why I have created this button. And this button has a little bit more to do. So I have here a data connection called upload service report. And this data connection is a flow in Power Automate. So that's why I have the command run. So I say, okay, I want to use this flow. I want to run it. And then I need a lot of data to add here. So you have some data like this one is, for example, the file name. Said, okay, I want to create it with the project number and the consultant name. And then I want to add some metadata, which we saw here in the document library as different fields. So contact number, the project name, the project manager, and so on. Here is a convert in a date format, because in my AI model it's only a string. And I wanted to add the document itself. So here it's called original image in the form processor component, because think about using this app um, in on a smartphone, then you would only take a picture. This would be analyzed. Yeah, and after running this flow, I want to navigate to a second screen. And the second screen, this is very easy. If I close this here, it has only one hard-coded text here. And here I navigate back to the scan screen. I could also do some kind of resetting the components here before I navigate back to the screen, but I didn't do this in this demo. So, and last in this demo, I want to show you the flow itself. So as you can see, upload service report is the name of this flow. And the trigger is that I use this from Power Apps. So nothing more here to do. And I want to create a file. I want to create a file in this website. That's the website which belongs to the Microsoft Teams team. And I want to add it here in the document library. And here, as you can see with the Power Apps icon, I said ask for this one in Power Apps. And I also ask a lot of here in Power Apps. So that's why I have create file underscore file name. So have a look here on the action name and on the property name. That's how the names are built here. And I also wanted to do this with a file content, but this didn't work. So I need a compose action where I convert it to a binary string. But that's only special because I want to store the document itself here. And then I have a second action to update all my properties so I have the relevant metadata. And for Tanya, it's pretty cool because she now has a central document location with all the service reports, and she said to the consultant, please use the app, scan your service report, and then I can have some special fields here in this document library, maybe with some signed to information, so she can share the work with her colleagues. And maybe later on, she will extend this flow to maybe create a task in Planner. So this would be one option. Or maybe she says, okay, I want to send a post in the Microsoft Teams team to inform the colleagues to create a new invoice or something else. So you have a lot of options there. So, and if we go back to the slides, I think we saw how to do this. And now it's very important because what can you take away from this session? There are so many business processes to support with an app or with a business solution. And not only business processes, think about all your team processes. There's always something which you can do in a better way. And how should you start? First one, and that's very important. Take responsibility. Be a maker, be a citizen developer, or how you want to call you, but you are the one who can start. You are the one who can change the world, how you are living today. Second option, learn to use the tools of the Power Platform. I showed you Power App and the AI Builder with a very small flow behind it. In some cases, you can start with Power Automate and create a lot of flows, and you don't need Power Apps at all. And if you start doing this, create a quick win solution. So build your first solution, but don't start with a too large or too difficult scenario. So I know you will see that there is a very important business process, and it would take a lot of days to analyze it and to create a concept and so on. Don't do this. Create this quick win solution. And don't do this completely by your own. So inspire your colleagues, create a team, because team means together we achieve more. You will have a lot of fun. You will have the option to share the work. Please think about this. And last but not least, think about sharing is caring. Share your knowledge and talk about what you are doing, not only in your team. Think about that even if there's something which is really, really easy for you. There's somebody who doesn't know how to do this, and he would be really grateful if you share this information and help him. So please do this. Maybe not from at the beginning on events like this, but maybe there are some user groups around about, or you create a community in your company. Think about sharing your knowledge. That's it. I hope you got a insight of how to build intelligent workplace. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great day. And please, let's stay in touch. So please contact me. I always like to meet new people. It would really nice. So thank you and bye.